It's evident how often Kody uses them as an excuse to remain with Robyn. And the entire story that's solid, airy require Kody is such a blatant one. Let's face it though, there is a significant double standard in place. Kody is always saying things like, they can't survive without me, I can't be away from solid, and airy. But for someone who is hardly older than Saul, where is that same energy? Why isn't her father's actual needs given the same priority? He seems to be disregarding the others and treating Robyn's children as the only ones who are important. Then there's Robyn, who says her children would struggle too much with education in Utah, but wait. When Janelle and Christine left Vegas, didn't they share the same worries? However, only Robyn's children are thought to be incapable of adapting to change. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. The recent interviews with Robyn, in which she seems shocked that Solved Airy are inquiring why they don't see their siblings or receive birthday cards from everyone, are so obviously inconsistent. They're perplexed, of course. It's common for siblings to wonder where their family is. The main problem, though, is that Kody, their father, hasn't been as consistent in their lives as he ought to have been. Saul and Ari are likely feeling the absence of everyone else, which is why they are asking those questions. The other children, meanwhile, most likely have similar questions about their father. Kody's claim that he is remaining for his younger children is merely a handy way for him to remain near Robyn. He is not needed by Saul and Airy. The reason is because Kody is reluctant to acknowledge that he is staying for Robyn. Simply put, things have always been this way. Kody proudly continued to say that it has always been this way, even when Janelle brought up the fact that he is there for his younger children. I was yelling at the TV in the meantime, but what about really? She's being absolutely ignored since it's so evident. All of this is part of the same old story, in which Robyn's children are given priority and everyone else is left on their own. When will we confront the obvious then? Growing his family always seemed to be a bit of an obsession for Kody. Even with women he didn't have a close relationship with, he was obsessed with getting them pregnant in the early seasons. After all of those adorable young children grew up, enrolled in college, and became adults with their own lives and opinions, everything abruptly changed. The days of toddlers idolizing you were over, and mature children who weren't so easily impressed took your place. That wasn't as attractive, apparently. As if his desire to have more children had disappeared, Kody abruptly cut Robyn off when she mentioned wanting another child, the tiny dark-haired boy she had in mind. He seems to have been preoccupied with having as many children as possible for a considerable amount of time. He swiftly moved on to 2 more women who were able to have children when Mary was unable to, and given that he claims he never really loved his wives, it's difficult to avoid wondering if the excitement of starting a large family was the primary driving force all along. He has consistently stated that he wanted 20 children and appeared prepared to go to any lengths to achieve that goal. Take a look at how he married a 30-year-old while his previous marriages were in their 40s. Some believe that his need for adulation is more important than having children. He talked about imagining all of his adult children living close by, close enough to keep him at the center of their life, in the most recent episode. His annoyance when they relocate or choose to take vacation somewhere else is explained by this assumption. He would always be the center of attention in his mind. Perhaps this is more a result of the cultural and theological beliefs of some conservative Mormon organizations, who place a strong importance on large families. Some people even think that there are spiritual kids on the planet who are just waiting for their parents. For Kody, having a big family becomes a source of pride and meaning. This may have been a result of a combination of cultural norms and personal objectives. The boy is not the only one who is upset with Robyn for not contacting the original 13 children. It appears that everyone is focused on Kody's actions, which have, of course, drawn a lot of criticism. But why isn't Robyn being questioned? Did she not express a desire for a large university? Family, didn't she say she wanted to be the other kids' bonus mom? She's got their phone numbers, surely. She bears some of the blame for the gap between her family and the original children, so it's odd that she hasn't made more of an effort to connect at this time. Yes, Kody is more at fault because he is their father and was there for them all of their lives. However, it's questionable how present he was given how much responsibility the older children took on. So why doesn't Robyn face consequences for this? Or does it simply get overshadowed by the annoyance with Kody? According to others, Robyn never really gave a damn about forming bonds with Kody's other children. She comes across as a STEM parent figure, one who never shared the strong attachment that Janelle, Christine, or even Mary had with the original children, which is why some people are so angry with her. For some, Robyn has become more of an evil STEM label, or at least someone the children don't feel particularly strongly about. Since she was never viewed as a mother figure, many of them don't expect her to be more active. Consider the recent holiday texting incident. The fact that Robyn was involved appeared to agitate the situation. The children made it obvious that they preferred their father to Robyn. Cody is the one who needs to mend those ties. Even though she does have a part to play, Robyn has no actual relationship to fix so many red flags, but let's start with a little one. Robyn was never truly a part of the family dynamic the way the other parents were. I'm at the point in Sister Wives where the family takes a trip to Utah, and I'm watching the entire show for the first time. They make the decision to give Solomon and Robyn a fictitious wedding. I apologize, but does anyone else think this is incredibly strange? As a mother, or, as a human, I found the entire situation unnerving, even though they seem to find it funny or lovely. I did that. This program has much more serious problems. And even though it can seem like a minor inconvenience, I can't get rid of it. Simply said, it feels strange, like some strange pretend play that made me uneasy. Perhaps that's a controversial opinion, but here we are. When Robyn announced to her family a few episodes later that she was going to be a grandmother, referring to Maddie's pregnancy, her own family assumed she had met one of her children, such as Aurora or Dayton. This upset the other viewers, who didn't mind the phony wedding as much. That response speaks volumes. It demonstrates that, despite the passage of time, Robyn's own family did not consider her to be a mother figure to the original children, and did not even believe she was capable of discussing the children of others. Given that Robyn appears to have bonding problems with her children, it does feel a little out of place. Why no one else in the family thought the wedding idea was a little strange is beyond me. It appears that David genuinely loves Christine. Although I wouldn't consider myself a fan of Christine, she appears to be truly content with David, and he seems to adore her. He even enjoys how weird she is, saying he never imagined he'd find a lady like her. He's a complete opposite of Cody, so I can understand why Christine didn't hesitate with him. He values her relationship with her children, and wanted to give her the lavish wedding she's always wanted, even if he would have been content with a quick vacation to Vegas. In addition, Christine gives David a look that Cody never gave us. While I would ordinarily agree that their relationship proceeded too quickly, Christine has had years to consider what she would want if given another chance. She didn't hesitate when the time was right. She jumped right in and was fortunate to meet someone who genuinely appreciates her and is embraced by her kids, but I did wish she had waited a little longer, especially for her own sake. An excellent illustration of this occurred in the most recent episode when David arrived for dinner and felt at ease enough to playfully push him before taking a seat directly next to him. In contrast to how nervous and uneasy she seemed approaching Cody at Mike Kelty's baby sprinkle, Isabel also seems at ease while sitting next to him. David appears like the entire deal. Christine is obviously drawn to him, and he provides security in the form of a reliable work, a consistent salary, and a laid-back demeanor. Before he met her, he was unmarried for years and spent a considerable amount of time raising his own children. He just knew when they first met, and I adore that. He clearly cherishes family and loves children. Together, Christine and David appear to be considering the wider picture, and let's face it, David doesn't always make you wince when he appears on television. That being said, Janelle's most recent real-life interview with Kate Casey was really annoying. She essentially retracted all of her statements from the previous season. As she speaks, you'll most likely find yourself hitting your head against the wall if you have the courage to listen. After everything she's been through, it's obvious that Cody still has a hold on her. Hearing her claim that she didn't get what she wanted and that she is okay with purchasing Robyn's home is disheartening. I'm going to scream into a pillow. Excuse me. It's always seemed to me that Janelle would be the one to return to him. Although she is still in Flagstaff, she is the one who claims that they are not together and that she does not want him back, refuses to declare herself divorced, and has not taken any steps to start over. I have the impression that Cody would welcome him back in a heartbeat if she made amends with her children and made some commitments. Perhaps Garrison's predicament let her see things more clearly. She may have decided it's just money at this point, and is likely tired from all the battling. Her ex and his current wife are so annoying to me. However, it's possible that she has had enough of the public discussions. Another possibility is that she has come to the realization that her children, particularly Garrison, are being negatively impacted by the family drama, and she does not want this to continue. Perhaps she has made the decision to work discreetly with attorneys and keep matters covert in order to prevent her children from becoming more embroiled in the drama. However, Janelle and Cody have always had a close bond. For years, they were best friends. She has already left him and returned, so this is nothing new to her. I wouldn't be surprised if she decides to alter her mind later on because Janelle has been attracted to Cody from the beginning, and it appears that their connection endures despite her reluctance to acknowledge it, as seen by gossip and jealousy. God, I'm rewatching the most recent episode, and this particular scene, in addition to the typical Cody gaslighting, makes me laugh so hard. In fact, he questions Janelle about why she didn't call him to inform him that Maddie was expecting a child. He responds by wondering why Janelle claims there are many nuances and she can't be in the middle. A classic deflection on her part, but at least she's trying. Janelle, with all the patience she can manage, tells him that his children feel alienated from him. Cody then adds his always insightful perspective on Glossonivi and Geosip, saying, "Really, my guy? It's not jealousy or gossip. It's the reality that you've left your family entirely behind. Even though you appear to want your family to worship you like a god, you're not some infallible divinity. It's amazing how naive he is. He is blatantly narcissistic. He will never acknowledge his mistakes." The entire sentence about gossip and envy was hilariously ridiculous, but it's typical of Cody. He will never own up to his mistakes. No matter who is with him or not, he will continue to live in his own little world and refuse to take responsibility for his actions since his mind is that warped. And to be honest, there's no reason to worry about it anymore. However, what really struck me as ironic was that he turns around and tells Janelle to tell Savannah that he loves her after whining that Maddie didn't phone to let him know she was expecting. Why was he unable to reach Savannah directly? Although he expects everyone to try to get in touch with him, he won't do the same for his own children. It's quite telling. I was wondering why Cody had legally married any of his women in the first place after reading a social media post about the lots on Coyote Pass. Although all of the parcels are registered in Cody's name, Robyn, his lawful wife, is entitled to half of their joint assets. As a result, she has some authority over the information Cody shared with the first 3 spouses. What if none of them had ever been legally married by Cody? That would have made all the spouses more equal, wouldn't it? Who would have married if Cody hadn't? Given that there wouldn't have been a legal marriage in the first place, could the state of Utah have even accused him of bigamy? I feel like I'm missing something because it's so clear. What am I missing? It would have been more sensible for Janelle or Christine to have health insurance benefits, and Leon, previously Logan, could have obtained them through their employment in the beginning. Cody could only openly claim Leon as a child, and until Robyn entered the scene, I believe he was fine with it. After she did, he felt compelled to care for her children, claim them in public, and provide them with the same advantages and care that he had been providing for his own children. The episode in Season 18 where Mary ultimately separates from Cody is the one I'm rewatching. However, one aspect caught my attention. Christine stated that Robyn's name was on her lot while she and Janelle were discussing the Coyote Pass lots. Given how much the other wives had to give to the first King Mansion, why is Robyn's name on so many properties? Was this a part of Cody and Robyn's plan to increase their wealth? When I first started watching Sister Wives, I knew very nothing about the program other than its fundamental premise. I'm watching the Madison wedding episode right now, and I have to admit that Cody is acting rather immature when he demands to knight Cody at the wedding. It seems like he can't handle not being the center of attention. He is extremely self-centered. Being married to someone like that is unthinkable for me. In addition, has anyone noticed that Cody delivered the same father of the bride speech at each of the 3 weddings? There were a few minor variations, but his speech was essentially the same each time, and he always made sure to stand directly next to the bride and groom to draw attention back to himself. He seemed to be trying to keep the attention on himself. When Robyn commented, "I feel like I'm the idiot that got left behind," in her interview, Cody would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. I would really like to know what other people think about this statement. What did she mean, in your opinion, and how do you imagine Cody would have responded if he had heard her say it? I'm not sure how he would react. Would he be defensive, or perhaps he doesn't realize the impact his actions have had on her? I'm definitely in the minority, because I know that most people here don't like Robyn, But I've been wondering if Robyn is truly as bad of a witch as she's frequently portrayed to be, or if Cody is the one who is fostering the hostility toward her. My mom has never held back from complaining to the other kids about one of us, especially when there is dispute, even though I am one of 6 children spread out over 19 years. Growing up, she always played the victim, which made it hard for us to develop close relationships because we were all unconsciously trying to win her favor. We have just realized the extent to which her behaviors affected our relationships as we have grown older and more mature. Since Cody obviously favors his relationship with Robyn, I believe he has done something similar in his family dynamic. He tends to give her the upper hand in every choice or dispute. He even incites controversy when none existed in the most recent episode. I wonder if some of the blame put on Robyn for destroying the family is based on misogyny, as Cody failed to bring the family together and instead sowed discord. To add another layer to this, it's a common trope for men to set women against one another, which causes the women to blame one another rather than the man at the center of it all. There are other issues as well. Naturally, navigating polygamy correctly sounds almost impossible, but I believe the factors I've discussed are important to take into account. I would really like to know what everyone thinks. I wanted to put forth a theory for discussion because there has been a lot of conjecture regarding Janelle's recent change in attitude. What if the lawyers for Janelle and Christine suggested that they be tactful? Both have chosen to sue Cody after all, and if they keep disparaging him, it may make their cases appear trivial and spiteful, which could damage their reputations. However, they would undoubtedly appear more favorably in court if they adopted a more cordial stance. Additionally, it can encourage Cody to comply. He is a huge narcissist, as we all know, and Robyn is not far behind. Both of them detest criticism, and we've seen how they respond to it in public. However, now that Christine and Janelle are acting more tactfully, Cody may appear worse in any future confessions in court cases. If they remain civil, his impolite remarks and actions may be used against him. What are your thoughts? Are Christine and Janelle merely playing the game to prepare for any future legal action? Or do we actually think that they have changed their minds about Cody? Smoother action. On that podcast, I genuinely felt that Janelle came across as extremely Janelle. Not necessarily in a bad way, but she doesn't actively seek out conflict. I doubt that she has been as outspoken about the things that others have been criticizing because she has previously stated that she wasn't really unhappy living in the fifth wheel. Christine is pushing the notion of being genuine and honest on the show, which is something I've definitely observed in recent interviews. Regarding Janelle, she looks uncertain about everything but maintains that she has all she needs, with the possible exception of a real father figure for her grown children. Additionally, I'd like to know why Cody and Robyn aren't being forced to do interviews and why Mary isn't. Fans aren't buying the Kool-Aid, and I firmly believe that they have read these Reddit discussions. They are no longer selling. We only receive a minute of fresh content. Everything else is merely a rehash of previously viewed material. And for heaven's sake, could someone please take out the old photo album and send KLC some fresh images? We've been seeing the same ones for 19 seasons. It's difficult to watch because of Cody's overtly selfish actions in season 18. For him, it functions as a continual coping strategy. He is rife with inconsistencies, and his mental acrobatics are astounding. His assertions from the earlier seasons and after Christine left are very different, as I discovered when I fast-forwarded through them again. Despite his obvious pain, it's difficult to find much joy in his sorrow. Rather, there is a great deal of rage, shifting of blame, and a profound dislike for other people, particularly his family. What truly strikes me is how he gives his children, particularly those who are about to become 18, a great deal of emotional responsibility while utterly ignoring the fact that they are following their education and growing apart from him as adults. They seem to have been socialized to realize that they will have less claim over him as adults. He is unable to recognize that it is the inevitable result of his own activities when they begin to draw apart on their own. He accuses Christine instead, implying that she is the one destroying their relationship. It's devastating to watch him fail to acknowledge the fact that his kids have grown up and turned away from him because they didn't feel like they were close enough. The unfortunate thing is that he is denying any responsibility for it and expects Janelle's children to initiate contact, as though they are all now adults and on an equal basis, rather than attempting to mend those ties. However, these are his offspring. As a father, he ought to take charge, swallow his pride, and work to mend the hurt he has caused. Rather, there is simply more harm all around. The amount of entitlement that Cody exhibits in his relationships is astounding. It's quite annoying to observe. He must be purposefully ignoring the reasons why things have collapsed at this point. He's been told repeatedly, but he still acts as though he doesn't understand. Particularly when it comes to his relationships with his wife and kids, he is accustomed to being pampered and not held responsible. When Cody's children were young and lacked the maturity or life experience to challenge him, he was seen as a good father. To be honest, they had no other choice but to look up to him. However, they are no longer only following his example mindlessly now that they are older and beginning to form their own beliefs. Cody can't stand it when they push back. Cody, Gabe is no longer for you. They are grown adults with their own life, and having a more autonomous relationship with your parents is a normal part of growing up. It's also frustrating how little effort he puts into his relationships. The fact that people require more than just scraps from him is something he doesn't want to accept. He desires to remain in his cozy, careless bubble while everyone else simply copes with it. He pouts at the insolence when people at last begin to advocate for themselves and hold him responsible. The pandemic, in my opinion, served as a major wake-up call for the Browns, especially for those who had already finished Cody's treatment during the coronavirus. Cody was unable to use his typical justifications and had to accept that others would no longer put up with his carelessness. It took them all some time to come to the realization that they were worthy of greater than he was providing. For example, Gabe and Garrison continued to live their lives despite Cody's threats to expel them. It became evident that nothing was and would ever work. Cody will never be able to regain those relationships if the dynamic doesn't alter, since everyone has realized that they deserve more and that they can't return to the way things were. He had a priceless expression on his face when Janelle approached him. The directness of her approach was too much for him to bear, and that moment just served to highlight his lack of awareness. Let us know in your comments, and stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks everyone.